Die da 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 ding die da dee da dee da die dee da dee da die die dee da dee da die dee da dee da die die hi dee die dee da die. Welcome everybody to this virtual Shabbos Hagadol drasha done before Shabbos. But Shabbos Sagado is so important that I can't let this opportunity slip away without sharing some of just amazing wisdom from our sages. I have in mind a refuah shlema for all the cholim and the Lisa Shem Avimori Moshe Ben Chaim Shulnright family who were killed by the Nazis in Warsaw. We also have in mind, especially all those in harm's way in Ukraine, other places, those who are sheltering, may Hashem look after them. And the merit of our learning today, may they be protected and may Hashem look out for them. So one of the questions that we eternally ask, where did the name Shabbos Hagadol come from? There are many explanations. I want to share with you something from the Holy Sfat. And he says, from where is this name, Shabbos Hagadol? We don't see that very often. You have a Kohen Gadol, kind of top Kohen. How is this Shabbos the top Shabbos for all the other Shabbosim of the year? How is it the top? So he brings a midrash, and it's maybe well known. The midrash says Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai taught Shabbos pleaded with the Holy One, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, saying, everybody else has a partner, but I have nothing, right? Every other day of the week has a partner. Sunday has Monday, Tuesday has Wednesday, Thursday has Friday. Shabbos says, this is the creation of the universe. Shabbos says, I'm all alone. I'm all alone. You made a day for each day has a partner. I'm alone. So Shabbos is complaining to God. You created everybody with a partner but me. So Hashem answers, Knesset Yisrael, the community of Israel will be your partner. Hashem says, at the creation of the world, Doros, generations, millions of years. Shabbos, you just got to wait. Be patient. Be patient. Shabbos, you will have a partner, and it will be the community of Israel. Knesset, the community of Israel. And Hashem said further, and when the Jewish people stood before Sinai, God said to them, remember what I said to Shabbat, that the Knesset Yisrael, the community of Israel, is your partner. So when we say, Zachor es HaShabbos, remember Shabbos, the Midrash is saying, one of the meanings of Zachor es HaShabbos, remember the Shabbos, when he commands the Jewish people, remember that Shabbos is your partner. Shabbos is your partner since the creation of the world. I created Shabbos, and Shabbos has been waiting for you all this time for you to be its partner. So before the Jewish people and Shabbos entered into this sacred relationship, Shabbos was single. Shabbos was a single day. In rabbinic terminology, when we say Gadol, Gadol refers to an adult. Could also mean somebody who's married. That begins adulthood. So Shabbos Hagadol celebrates the marriage, or the eligibility at least, of the Jewish people and Shabbos. It represents that the Jewish people and Hashem are now fit for one another to be married. And this idea that the Jewish people are the Ben Zug for Shabbos, are the partner, the soulmate for Shabbos, we can further explain, and it's a lot here. Says the Sfat, every giver needs a receiver. In any healthy relationship, ideally, there's a giver and a receiver, and sometimes one is the giver and one is the receiver. Sometimes things are the other way. But it's that balance between giving and receiving. If you don't have someone to give to, somebody who's a giver needs also somebody who's a receiver. And each day of the week, according to the Midrash, parallel with another day of the week. And each day gave to another according to its abilities and according to its stature. But every day of the week is connected to Yemei Maaseh. It's connected to the workday week, right? Days of work, of toil, of creation. Each day of the week is very much connected to Olam Hazeh. It's very much connected to making a living, to the material concerns of life. But Shabbos is on such a high spiritual level. You know, it's on a different level. It's not connected to Yemei HaMaaseh. It's not connected to a time when we should be working, worried about our material existence. Shabbos me'ein olam hazeh. Shabbos is from the world to come. Shabbos is on a whole nother spiritual level. But Shabbos was on such a high spiritual level that even if it had wanted to pair up with another day of the week, it was incompatible. And the Jewish people at that time were also incompatible. They were slaves in Mitzrayim. Because Shabbos is not from this world. Shabbos is from another world. It's Shabbos is Mein Olam Haba. It's from the world to come. All the other days of the week have a common spiritual stature and can give to one another. But that won't work for Shabbos. Shabbos is on a higher level. So how did it happen? How did it happen? How did it work out? When the Jewish people experienced the Exodus, and then they went through the Yam Suf, they went through the sea, and then they received the Torah. We learned that the Jewish people reached such a high spiritual level that they were lamala min hateva. Their spiritual level was above nature. What does that mean? We say that the days of the week are connected to the natural world. And Shabbos is connected to a world which is above nature. It transcends nature. And the Jewish people achieved a transcendent spiritual level through the process of redemption, crossing the sea and receiving the Torah. They were on that level, and then they became a pair. You know, it says that God told the Jewish people to take the lamb 4 days before they were actually going to shecht it and then eat it for the Korban Pesach, right? The Passover offering that we discuss at the Seder table, and which was offered every year when we had a temple. The Torah, God told the Jewish people that 4 days before you have to take it into your home. And also we learned through the way that the words are there that God was also instructing us to put away our avodah zarah, to put away our idol worship. In other words, the Jewish people in Egypt, they'd gotten all kinds of trinkets, little things that they bought, from EgyptAmazon.com, right? They had these little trinkets, little things, that they hoped would bring them some good luck, some fortune. And, maybe there were certain beads, right? Certain things that they wore that were not Jewish, but they thought, they wear them, so maybe I should wear them. Maybe they're going to help me. Maybe they're going to have in their pocket some little figurines. Maybe those will help me. It's not easy being a slave. I can use all the help I get. The Egyptians are doing so well. So the Jewish people, they adopted some of these practices of the Egyptians. And God says, before you take this lamb into the home, you got to get rid of that stuff. You got to get rid of those things. Okay. Now, there's a concept in Judaism that anytime a day is specified in the Torah, not just alluded to, but specified, that it has an enormous reverberation from then on throughout history. It's not just that day, it's that day for all time. The Jewish people, they took the lamb 4 days before Pesach. But we don't do that. We don't take a lamb 4 days before Pesach. Why not? Why don't we take the lamb? If God says exactly the date, so maybe we should be doing the same thing, but we're not. That's not the mitzvah. And especially because if these days that the Torah specifies are imbued with special characteristics, special meaning, they're a segula. So you think even more so that we would want to accentuate it. Well, it turns out the first thing is that time coincides with today. Shabbat Sagado. When God told us, leave your attachment to things which have no power. Leave your attachment to things which aren't helping you. Which things are from looking for power in other things. You gotta get rid of that idea. You gotta get rid of those things. In order for you to be redeemed, you're gonna have to just dispose of that thinking. You gotta get rid of that. And then you're gonna take this lamb, you're gonna be Mesiras Nefesh, you're gonna be self-sacrifice. Because the lamb was a sacred thing. You're not supposed to just, bring it into your house, tie it to the bedpost. Egyptians were going crazy. What are you doing? The Torah describes the Jewish people at this point in our history as being naked. But we weren't naked without clothing. We were naked without mitzvot. We were naked without the merits of any mitzvahs. We were slaves. We had no merit of doing mitzvot, which presented a problem. Because the Jewish people, they needed, as it were, like a ticket to get out of Egypt. They needed a coupon to show that they needed to get out. They needed some evidence that they were worthy to be redeemed. That's what the Midrash tells us. They needed a merit. However, there's a paradox. Before the redemption, they couldn't take upon themselves Torah and mitzvot. They were still really slaves, right? So if God's telling them what to do, or anybody, they're really slaves. They're not really free. They're not really free. Even if they do the mitzvah of taking the lamb, still they're not on the level of a free person. They weren't really free. They were on the process of being free, but they couldn't take on yoke of heaven. It says as Sfat Emes, the Jewish people taking the lambs into their house and putting the blood in the doorposts is different than it had a different impact. The Jewish people demonstrated those 4 days before a desire to connect with God, a desire to do the mitzvot, a desire to live as free people. And that desire for the mitzvah was the mitzvah. That was the mitzvah which the Jewish people used as their ticket to get out of Egypt. Spiritual growth is not something which a person can necessitate without certain actions. And I find a beautiful parallel into what we do before Pesach. I want to go into this for a moment. We spend time cleaning our homes for the chametz. We spend time gathering the chametz, either getting rid of it or preparing to sell it. We seal it off. We know that the chametz represents haughtiness. It represents ego. And ego and haughtiness is one of the primary klipot, one of the primary husks which prevent our spiritual growth. So we spend this time preparing for Pesach. I want to challenge us in this way, which in these days leading up to Pesach, when we're doing, please God, doing some cleaning for Pesach, when we're looking for chametz, when we're being conscientious of the things that we buy and how we're going to spend our time and money, and worried about this for, bread and the beer and the whiskey and all these things, that we're going to try to approach it spiritually and not just in the physical act of cleaning. We need to spend this time also cleaning our hearts and removing those things which block our spiritual growth. Sometimes those things can be removed with actions. Surmei Rav Aisei Tov. Do another mitzvah. Help somebody out. Sometimes that's what you need to propel you to that level, to get forward in your connection with God. But sometimes, as with the Jewish people, we have to put down some bad habits. We got to get rid of some of the trinkets which we have along the way, those things that we think are helping us, but really they're not helping us at all. We've adopted them because we think maybe they help somebody else, maybe they'll help us. And I'm not referring to healthy practices, right? I'm referring to things which are innately and helpful. Maybe they're actually beads of avodah zarah, but they don't have to be an actual material item for them to be an impediment to our spiritual growth. It can be a belief that we alone can fix everything and we don't need God. Just that idea that we can manifest it all, that if I just manifest something, I just want it, I'm going to manifest my destiny. Well, that thinking that we can do it without siyata d'shmaya, if the Jewish people had thought that way, we never would have been redeemed. We would have been still slaves in Egypt all these years later. And when a person says to me that, I want to yell back in the sweetest, nicest, loveliest way. You need Hashem's help. You want to manifest something? The only true manifest is God. God is the one who's going to manifest that for you. God is the one who's going to make that happen in your life. Whether it's a zivug, whether you're looking for a spiritual partner, whether it's parnasa, whether it's making a living, whether it's in your spiritual life, you want an up, you want a lift. Maybe it's in your mental health or your physical health. You need to ask Hashem for help. That's what it's about. Is realizing that. So we have this time now leading up to Pesach. We have this time now when we can be joyous and gather our friends together. But when we do that, let us do it and let us be at a level that we were at a higher level than the year before. Let us get to a higher place than we were before. And because this year, not only do we have Shabbos Hagadol now coming up, we have Shabbos and Pesach together this year. Think of the enormous spiritual power of having these two just amazing opportunities for connection together. The first night of Pesach being Shabbos. And we all can get to a higher place for this year. We all can raise ourselves up. And I promise that if you spend a little more time this year preparing spiritually for Pesach, maybe it's reading the Haggadah, doing mitzvot, cleaning, whatever you're doing spiritually, meditating, praying, whatever you're doing spiritually, it's going to have such an impact on your Seder. Your Seder is going to be on a much, much higher level. You're going to feel like the doorbell's going to ring and Eliyahu Navi is there waiting to take you to Yerushalayim. Let us daven. Let us daven that when we sing Shana Bab Yerushalayim this year, that mamish, we're on our way to Yerushalayim. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Pesach Sameach. Wishing all of you blessings, Shefa Bracha Hatzlacha, good things, and we'll see you, please God, Mir Tashem, very soon. Shabbat Shalom.